Hey guys, Tuesday night Total Schmidt show. Let's do this. Hey, tune in every week as I travel the world and I talk to entertainers from all over the world. A lot of writers, a lot of comics, a lot of dancers, a lot of singers, a lot of comics, a lot of producers, a lot of tech people, a lot of comics, a lot of pianists, piano player type people. You know what I'm talking about. Musicians and lots of comics. Every once in a while, we'll throw in a comedy sketch, something like that, some music, some travel stuff. We'll even do a live remote from one or two of the ports they happen to be hanging out at. That's it. That's the whole show. Then I'm going to record it all and put it on the intraweb. Sometimes. Usually late. Always late. Maybe, I don't know. And weekly? No, maybe. Sort of. Either way, sit back, grab a beer, light a joint, and enjoy this week's episode of... Hey man, thanks for tuning in to Total Schmidt Show. We're going to get right to it today. Jenna Knight and Francisco Arango are duo Distanza. They are an aerial act that I saw on the Celebrity Constellation who were absolutely amazing. It was one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. It's really different for a ship. It's different for anything. It's a combination of aerial performance and juggling, and they tell a story throughout the show, and they were fantastic. They were a lot of fun to watch and work with. It was great, and we had a great conversation. This is over an hour. I was talking about how they got together. They built the show during COVID. It was inspiring. I thought it was really cool. So sit back and watch the show. First of all, if you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. It helps me out immensely. It doesn't cost you nothing. It helps me out immensely. If you're listening to the podcast on any of the many 100,000 platforms there are, just subscribe to the podcast. Those things also help me out. But for now, sit back and enjoy my conversation with Jenna and Fran from duo Distanza.
We actually came from Colombia.
Yeah, we were in Colombia for 2 months.
Yeah.
The first month we were traveling around Colombia on motorbike. Jenna's parents came to Colombia for the first time.
Oh, right on.
To meet my family and to see Colombia and all of that. They've never been to Colombia.
Yeah, we've been together like 10 years and the families have never met.
Oh, no way.
I'm from England.
Yeah.
Fran's from Colombia. So to like do that trip is quite a big thing.
That's
so,
really cool.
Yeah, we made the decision that they were going to come to Colombia at the beginning of this year.
Beginning of January.
And like the easiest way to get around Colombia is on bike.
Right.
Because like we wanted to travel around, and obviously some of Fran's family is in Bogota, but his mum is in Cali. So we had to like travel around to try and see the family.
Yeah. And also see the country, like there is so much to see and so many places little places to visit and all of that.
Yeah.
A lot of them that I don't even know myself, but like other places that it's nice to go and visit.
Yeah.
So we decided to.
So luckily my dad rides as well. So obviously my dad's in his 60s. So yeah, we got 2 motorbikes and geared ourselves up and went on like was it 20 days touring around Colombia on motorbikes.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience.
Was the whole families together for 20 days?
No.
Just Jenna's parents and the 2 of us. So just 2 bikes, 4 people, 2 bikes.
Right.
That was it.
That's really cool. Yeah. Wow, that's cool. So you've been together 10 years, but COVID in the middle of that, so that'd be a pain in the ass as far as getting the family together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That screwed everything up. Are you Cartagena? That's the only place I've been in Colombia. I go there all the time on the show.
No, I'm from Cali, which is like the 3rd biggest city in Colombia.
Right.
And so Cartagena is in the north, like by the Caribbean coast.
Right.
And Cali is 2 hours away from the Pacific coast. So Colombia has two seas, the Caribbean and the Pacific on the other side. So we are 2 hours away from the Pacific side. Is the world capital of salsa, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. But that's where I'm from.
Okay. But did you guys? How long have you been working together as a duo?
Our first contract was in 2017.
2017.
Yeah, we got a contract in China.
Okay.
So we met in 2013 on a cruise line. I was a dancer at the time, and Fran was a circus artist and juggler.
As part of the production cast.
Yeah, part of the production cast. And then, we ended up kind of getting separated for 1 year because I stayed on the ship and did some of the contracts. Fran went back to Colombia, and my
contract finished. So there was no chance for me to extend it or anything like that. There was just my contract finished. So I had to leave.
Yeah. So like it was. Yeah, we didn't really leave the ship knowing. Like in a relationship or anything, like it wasn't kind of planned.
Yeah.
But we ended up just staying in touch like every single day.
I'm still listening. Hold on.
That's fine.
I don't want to lose this.
We just kind of stayed in touch literally for a year, and we were getting to the point where it was like, this isn't going to work out, and we were so close to like calling it off, and then we received an email offering us both a contract. Still Fran as a circus artist and myself as a dancer on board the ship.
Right, production?
Yeah, production. So we went on in end of 2014.
Yeah.
And then we decided, okay, if we want to keep working together, we need to like put something together.
So you developed a show together?
Well, not the show. We developed like a aerial act because it was like, well, what can we do? And Fran was mainly a juggler, so we did try and juggle, but I hate juggling. Like it really doesn't interest me. And
I think you need a particular mind frame to juggle. A lot of patience to pick things up and
plus to keep
repetition.
Working on it, because I would be like, fuck this.
I just didn't have the passion for it. But we did make a good attempt and a good start.
It was fun. Like we were creating this sort of like a little bit of like dancing, juggling thing with like some fun patterns and things like that. And it was quite interesting. Like I think if we would have stick to it, I think that would have grown into something quite cool. But it was like, we need something that we can.
Well, I needed something that inspired me.
Yeah.
Like growing up, I wasn't around the circus at all. Like it just wasn't part of my childhood. And then when I went on the ships, I saw all these different circus artists, and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing!"
Yeah.
And there was like 2 guys that did duo straps.
What?
Duo straps. So it's like.
Is that from the?
Aerial. Yeah, it's like an aerial technique. So you put your hand in a loop. So.
They look like belts, belts.
That's what they do here in celebrity. Like I've noticed on this line, not every line does this.
Yeah, so they look like belts, and they have like a loop at the end. So you put your hand through, and you just spins and do like different exercises or tricks and stuff.
Yeah, so I saw these guys perform, and I was like, that is what I want to do.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, this looks really cool.
Oh my god, that's such a leap to go from dancing to hanging in the sky.
So like I didn't realize it's actually like one of the hardest aerial techniques to start with as well. Like the amount of strength you need for it. Like it's like one of the hardest disciplines. But yeah, we went straight into it, didn't we? And we started training. So we were training on the ship.
Right.
which back in that time you were allowed, because obviously I was a dancer. I hadn't had any circus
Right.
training.
Not at all, yeah.
So like it was literally like after the shows in the evening, wasn't it? It was like at midnight. We were on the stage, like training, like as much as we could.
Yeah.
So it started with
just the conditioning and like just working on the conditioning and being able to hold yourself in a good position so that you minimize the risk of an injury or something like that. Especially like in the circus school, we did like some aerial training, but when we move into third year, you specialize into something. So I moved completely away from the air, and we were doing more acrobatic stuff and juggling. So I had a little like the basics of it, but never went full into that. So I had a little bit of training, but also because I haven't done it for so long, I had to start again from the beginning. So we both started from like pretty much the beginning to start building up the strength and the conditioning and like all of that.
Yeah, towards the end of that contract we managed to record a straps routine and like an adagio floor-based routine,
which is like a dance with lifts and things like balances and stuff like that.
I mean, it was very basic, but that was our goal by the end of the contract, to have that, like a video of that.
Right.
And then we finished that contract and we both went to Colombia, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we were actually in Colombia for a year without work, because we were still transitioning, and like to become a professional circus artist, this takes years. It doesn't happen overnight. And luckily we had the circus school, and they were very kind to let me go and train, weren't they?
Yeah.
So we trained for a year, didn't we? And then we got offered the contract in China, and then the career just took off from there. Like to be doing guest entertainer now as a circus artist is it's massive. Like it's not even something that I really thought we'd achieve.
No, I know.
Like that,
I always wanted to have like my own show as a one-man juggler or circus or something like that. I saw other people when I was working on the cruise lines, and these guys used to come in and just do their own 45-minute show. I was like, man, I really want to do this. Like, so I don't know, it inspires me a lot. But then obviously now, like with Jenna, we're like, well, we can do much more. Like we can
we just
open the variety.
Like we looked into we do quick change, we do the silts, like we just kept expanding skills, didn't we? Like growing and growing. Yeah. Like to offer.
What's quick change?
Quick change falls into the magic branch.
Okay.
And is this act where people change their clothes in seconds.
Right. Okay.
So
that's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
This is incredibly impressive on a couple of reasons. One, I always love to talk to people that created a guest entertainer act that came from crew or production. You know what I mean? It's so hard to do that because you do it, you want to do it. There's Gabe kind of did that. There's a guy named JP Parent. He's a magician out of Canada. Did the same thing. He was a table magician.
Okay.
Spoke no English, just French.
Right.
And eventually now he's got like 3 different shows he does.
Cool.
It's so hard to do. It's like I don't think people understand.
Yeah.
No.
The journey to get there.
Yeah.
And then to get to work, and then to get to work regularly.
Yeah.
Because once you get on, you start working, and if you do well, honestly, you're in good shape. Once you're doing a good show, now they want you.
Yeah.
And you guys have this absolutely unique thing. Like there's a million comics. There's a lot of guys telling jokes.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of aerial performers out there.
Yeah, I think like for us, like a lot of comments we've had from guests as well. Like we really wanted to tell the story with our show, and I think it makes our show quite unique because we've used like video animation in our show, and it's actually like avatars of our characters on the screen.
So I'm gonna miss the show, damn it.
Like so, I think for the audience to kind of sit and watch that and see us, and then in some bits like we kiss and it turns into an actual photo of us. Yeah. Like it's cool, and it's quite unique, isn't it? Like the show.
Yeah, I think that process of creating the show, it went from loads of different ideas. Maybe if we do a show of, I don't know, being bank robbers, and we can use this prop, and then we can make it into something else, into this and that, and we're like, not sure if that story is gonna work. Okay, what if we do, I don't know, and we went into like different routes trying to explore what, and then and then we said, well, there is nothing as personal as telling your story.
Right.
So we were like, well, that is a cool story, how we met and how we were separated for a year and then reunited again, and then we just been together ever since. So what if we try to do that on a circus show? And we're like, right, so how we tell this story? And so that's when the animation things came into play, and all of this was during the pandemic.
Right.
So it was just the two of us stuck in a room in Colombia, in Cali, and
no window.
Yeah, the first month it was crazy because, well, a little bit of the context behind. So we were in 2019. We were working for a company in Rhodes in Greece. And right at the end of that contract, we managed to secure a contract in China for this. It was going to be the biggest. I don't know if it's still, but I think it's the biggest stable circus in the world. So it's a capacity of like 10,000 people or something like that.
Not moving.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a massive building. And it holds 10,000 people, and it's crazy. It's like the stage was gonna be unbelievable, and it was gonna be crazy, like out of this world. And we're like, okay, that sounds cool. That sounds interesting. So okay, let's do that. So we finished the contract. I went to Colombia. Jenna went to England to sort out work visas to go to China.
Right.
I managed to sort out my visa, and I went at the middle of or end of November or something like that. We were meant to start the contract somewhere in December or something like this, 2019. Jenna went to England to sort out her visa, and she was having a nightmare.
Yeah. I don't know how you guys deal with that.
Yeah, it's
difficult for one person, but for a couple, because one works, one doesn't. I mean, I see it all the time where you're like, oh.
It's an absolute nightmare. But yeah, we were just having. I was just going back and forth, spent so much money, and yeah, it was a right palaver. But when you look back, everything worked out for a reason. Absolutely.
Yeah. So while I was there, we like the show or they was building this park. It's a massive park called Longimont Park or something like that. It's huge. It's out of this world. It's like a city type of thing.
In China. This is in China.
In China.
Where in China? What city was?
It's about 2 hours from what's the city? Beijing. Yeah, it's like about 2 hours from Beijing. But it's crazy. The magnitude of these projects that they do there is mad. It's mad. Like the theaters and the technology that these people apply to this is crazy. It's out of this world. Like we've seen Cirque du Soleil, but then we go to watch just a normal show in China, and it's just like, what?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's like, what? These guys has all these toys, and wow, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was in China. Jenna was trying to sort out her visa, and then all of a sudden, this weird virus started to come in the news.
Oh yeah, you were in China, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But we didn't know anything about it. We had no clue at all. And Jenna was like, there is this thing going on in China. What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what are you talking about? Obviously, all the TV was in Chinese. There was no way for us to find out what was going on, if there was anything.
Right.
And the company wasn't saying anything to us either. So we were in the dark. And then, well, just things escalated to a point where I literally managed to get out of China on one of the last flights leaving China, because they were just shutting and closing and
you guys
everything.
Both got out?
No, I didn't end up getting there.
Jenna didn't manage to get
I
there.
had a flight. Literally, I was about to walk out the front door, and they said, don't get on the flight. So I didn't get on the flight. I was fuming because I was like, I've just got my visa. I'm literally about to get on the plane. And they were like, no, don't get on it. Then the next day they go, okay, actually you can come to China. And that's when we'd been messed around so much, and that's when I said to Fran, just get out of there, like I'm not coming. And it was such like the right decision to make, because there was the option for me to fly somehow. I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't know how that would have worked, because the situation in China is, as you know, their government works things on a specific way that we're not used to. No, that we as outsiders of China not used to it, you know. So if the government say this,
they're in charge of everything.
That's what happens. And it was getting to a point where so the park they were allowing us to go anywhere basically, and then they said, okay, now you can go just to the nearest town outside the park. And then they said, actually, you can only go to this shop in that park, in that town. And then they said, now you can leave the park.
Right.
And then they say, now you can only go to the theater, from your accommodation to the theater to train. And then they said, now you can leave the hotel.
Right.
And then just before I was leaving, they said, now you can leave your room.
Right.
So they were literally closing everything. But then if we were to be going there, like, I don't know, I just think it would have been
like,
crazy, just too much. I had friends that they were there at the time, and it was just like months on end, like in the room doing nothing. Nothing. And the government wasn't allowing anyone to, okay, you have like an hour to go out and get fresh air. There was none of this.
Right.
It was just in your room and end off. The food was getting delivered through the door, and it was a nightmare. It was really difficult for those guys.
Plus, mental health wise, that's just terrible for you in the long term. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we were really lucky that, well, it was the right decision to say, yeah, you get out of there. And then I flew to Colombia, and we ended up having the lockdown in Colombia. But it was actually the best place.
Yeah, it was. We
Not
were
because of the situation, but for us.
Yeah, we were on the process because they said, "Oh no, this is gonna take like."
Well, at least you're
4
together
weeks.
first of all, because that's kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at the beginning you're like, "Oh, it's going to be a week or two or a month."
That's
Or
it.
everybody thought the same thing, but then it turned into a year
Yeah.
and a half or however long it was.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. They said, "Oh no, it's gonna be like maximum of 2 months. So go to Colombia, have a holiday, and then come back." And we're like, "Okay, fine." And they sent us the flight tickets and everything. So we're like, "Okay, this is cool."
So
like,
we actually went on a little holiday.
Yeah, we went on a
There you
little
go.
holiday, blah blah blah, enjoy ourselves, and then we came back, got our bags ready, flew to Bogota together on our flight, and then they were like, "No, guys, you're not going anywhere. That's it. There is no flights leaving Colombia." We're like, "What do you mean?" Or like, "No, that's like the world is shutting down. There is no flights going anywhere."
Right.
We're like, "No, we need to go to China. We need to go to China. We have a job and blah blah blah." And it was like, "No, guys, you're not leaving." So we're like, "Shit, right now what?" So then we found this accommodation place in Cali. So then we flew back to Cali and went into this room, and it was literally like on the ships is like an inside cabin, so there was no windows or anything.
Right. Yeah. I've been in those.
Yeah.
As well.
So yeah, we just moved into there, and we're like, right, so I guess it's just 1 month of this, and then we off again, and we'll see what
How
happens.
bad can it be for 30 days?
Yeah.
It'll be all right.
Exactly.
Cut you 5 months later.
Well, luckily we managed to speak to the owner of the house that was renting us this room, and she very, very kindly let us use this other flat that was free, was available, which was much better. It was like an actual flat with like its own room, the kitchen, the living room, and you had windows.
Oh,
So
nice.
that was much better. And we ended up staying there was like, I don't know, a year and a bit. I can't remember how long. But like the whole of the pandemic, and that through that process, through all that time, there was like the process of putting ideas together and obviously
searching for music.
Yeah. And then the creation of the show, going to rehearse, and
That's kind of but it's. I mean, when you look back at it all now, it's weird that it happened.
Yeah.
But look what it did for you.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the development. You always. I'm a big believer in the journey. You know what I mean? It's all the journey, and you make the best of it. Like I started doing this podcast stuff during COVID, and I didn't know what I was doing, and then I started doing it.
Yeah.
But you guys developed the whole show. That's so brilliant. Then to take your time to create something.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, and we started doing online classes as well because we needed to keep fit, and obviously mentally as well. Like fitness
was
is
a big
such
deal.
a big part to help your mental health. So, like, because we were just doing workouts, we thought let's do it live on Facebook and Instagram, and people can join in. And
that's kind of cool.
So we just
we started as a like a free thing.
Yeah,
like we're gonna do this if you want to join us. Come and join us, and just to help people.
Sure, yeah, right.
So
Keep doing stuff
3 times a week. We were doing that, wasn't it? And then I don't know, like some people that I knew in England started doing online classes, and they were looking for teachers. We were like, yeah, absolutely. Like we were a bit like nervous at first because we were like, because Fran was like, well, how can I teach handstands online to a load of kids? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
like I have experience teaching kids and like circus skills, but it's very physical, isn't it?
Sure.
Like you help people, you put them in the right position, and you give them cues. Okay, push here, do this,
Yeah,
do
try to
that.
explain that verbally over the internet.
Yeah.
Balance.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it's just like how.
We really weren't convinced, were you? And I was like, Fran, you need to do this. We need to, like people are doing it. Like,
Yeah.
we can do it.
Well, you did everything online during COVID.
Yeah.
When I first did this show, I used to stream live. I streamed live, but then at the beginning, I streamed live 5 nights a week.
Okay.
Wow.
I would do like an hour. I'd have a different artist enter. First, it was just me. Then it was entertainers. But then I eventually narrowed it down because I couldn't keep up with the pace of 5 days a week.
Yeah.
But I had to figure it all out on. I figured it all out on the fly. You know what I mean? Just to figure to do it. But everybody was doing everything online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did a ton of those. They were horrible, though. When you look back at them, I mean, you did them, but the online Zoom comedy shows, they were a pain in the ass. They were the laugh is delayed a half a second. So you're like, the timing is weird.
Yeah, you don't know if it landed or not.
Yeah.
And I did a couple corporate gigs for some lawyers and stuff, and I had a Zoom set up, and I would do some jokes, but then I would get comments on the side from the administrator. And they would be like, do more lawyer jokes, or do this, or don't do this, or lay off him. There was one guy I was making fun of constantly. And they leave him. That's the owner. Stop making fun of him. He's getting mad. I'm like, and the whole time I'm getting fed this information while I'm trying to tell these jokes. Also, just wearing a shirt and, a pair of shorts, I get a tie.
Yeah.
Like, hey, so I look good for me. That old CNN move or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just had to figure it out on
Yeah.
Zoom. But I can't imagine a physical, especially with kids. It's hard enough to keep a kid's attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. But also, I mean, it was just this weird thing because like the parents needed the kids to be entertained
Yeah.
so they can do something, and the kids also had so much energy because they're not going to school, they're not doing anything else.
Right.
They just like going
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
and then just trying to keep them connected to what you're trying to do.
And it's just like the whole, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you mute yours? Can you?
Yeah.
And it's like, and the kids playing with their cat and like swinging around, and it's just like there's kids doing nothing, and it's like
Well done, you're doing great.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
It's hard enough to work with because I mentioned, I taught kids acting too. It's hard enough when they're in the same room. So when they're everywhere, you got some kids that say, "Hey, Tommy, Tommy." He's like, whatever.
Yeah.
And the parents aren't paying attention.
No.
Because they need their window.
Exactly.
The whole point of you being there was, I just need 60 minutes to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we had this girl there. She had a pet cat and a dog, and the dog and the cat will appear in the handstand class like constantly, and she will just hold it to the camera and do the things with the arms and stuff, and it's like
the dog would be doing some stretching at some
Yeah.
point, wouldn't it?
yeah, the dog doing like stretch on the back and doing things and on the background, and you just like
That's funny. Then half the kids are like, "Oh, look at the dog."
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, let's focus on come on, guys, let's do it.
yeah.
But no, it was great. Like, and I was doing like dance classes and like stretch and relax, and it's amazing that the amount of people, like especially my stretch and relax class, it was for adults. We did a lot of breathing techniques and gentle stretching, and like the community I built up, like they were with me for the entire year of COVID. They stuck with me even when COVID finished and I returned to England. My mum owns a dance school, so I continued doing stretch and relax, and they would message me saying, can you do it online?
Right.
So they'd still want to do the class online, because some people lived like in London or wherever, like Milton Keynes, like all over, and they still wanted to take part in this class. It was really cool. And like last summer we performed in Cromer in Norfolk. It was like an end of pier theatre.
Mm-hmm.
We were there for the summer season, and some of these people came and like watched us in the show, and it's just like really created this really nice bond.
Yeah.
That,
No, I had the same.
strangers.
I have a huge bulk of fans that watch this show every week that joined me during COVID. Some of them watched every single show during COVID, like every single one. And there's about a group of 10 to 12 people, and a bunch of them flew to Vegas, and I was playing Vegas, and I'm friends with a lot of them to this day, or many of them. I mean, we talk maybe once a week, but it was we really helped each other get through COVID.
Yeah.
To have
Yeah.
that support.
And I did one thing. I did a show during COVID. I wish I could keep doing this, but I did kind of a sketch show where I had everybody. I gave everybody parts, so we taped stuff,
Okay.
and then we put it together, and then I performed it live and showed the sketches. So everybody got to be in the show. Like all of them got to do a small part in the show. It was a really interesting time. It was cool because it gave everybody something to focus on and do during a time that we had no clue.
I find it really interesting how that crisis, that global crisis, affected obviously massively the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
I mean, all industries, but like the entertainment industry, I think that it was massively affected for so many different reasons. But also how the artists and the musicians, the comedians, the magicians, like everyone was so creative to then do something to stay on it and to keep it up. Yeah. Like I don't know, like Zoom concerts or like so many different things.
Going back to our show, like once we'd created it, we actually did a live. Well, we say live. We did a performance. We sold tickets online.
Cool. Yeah.
And we streamed the show online for both English audiences and Colombian audiences.
Okay. And
it was really cool. Like, and we did like a general ticket and then a VIP ticket.
Right.
And the VIP included like an after show Zoom call where it was like a question and answer thing. We did like raffles and they won prizes of like duo Distanza. And it was really good, wasn't it?
It was nice.
We actually made quite a bit of money on that.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah, it was...
See, that every little bit helps, man. Like, it's amazing. It changed the entertainment business. I now have a Patreon page, and some of the followers and stuff, I do a thing called a happy hour every month. And that's just a Zoom meeting with anybody from the page on a certain level bracket that want to get together, and we just talk for like an hour. You know what I mean? Like and it works on celebrity because the Wi-Fi's strong enough that I can do it.
Okay.
So it's just like 10 people, and we'll talk. And a lot of them, some just joined within, but some of them, like I said, have been with me from day one. It was such an interesting time, and I started the show to talk to artists during COVID, specifically traveling artists like you guys and me. Because we had to do all that. You know what I mean? We had to completely reinvent what we did to stay sane.
Yeah.
You know, because first of all, the entertainment was just taken away from us.
Yeah.
You know, now you're not entertaining. So now we're getting back to the mental health issue. And that's why the dancing and the stretching thing is such an important part. Oh my God, it helps you.
Yeah, without that, like, I don't know what, I mean, I struggle anyway sometimes. So like without that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it kept me going 100%. To get up and be like, right, I need to choreograph this dance today because I'm teaching this class, but I was choreographing like constantly.
So you're constantly doing stuff. Yeah, let's get them, but you just keep them busy. And physical motion. I have 2 daughters, and we went on hikes. We hiked every day in LA, and that's how we got through. We were in LA. We were able to go outside and walk through the Hollywood Hills.
Okay.
So we did that. So we got sun. We got to walk. We get to move. It was such a big part of it as opposed to just sitting for a year and a half.
Yeah.
It was such a hard time.
Yeah.
But it's so weird how, I mean, look at how much stuff came out of it. You guys completely created a show out of it. And one thing I want to get back to is, I mentioned that I love that you mentioned, you brought your personal story into the show, which is brilliant. Any audience is going to connect with that a million times more because they're going to feel that connection for sure. Like when I do stand-up, it's a lot of personal. The more personal you are on stage, the better you connect with an audience.
Yeah.
And for you guys to be able to do it with your type of show, that's brilliant. I really, really wish I can't wait to see you again, but I wish I could see the show.
Yeah, no, I know. It's a shame that you're not going to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be cool. But yeah, I mean, it's weird how those situations and those conditions push you into a direction that you just don't know. Because we made the show thinking, right, we want to sell it to a cruise line. We want to sell it to be guest entertainers. But at the time, that option was not even closer to the horizon, like nowhere near. Like the entertainment industry was completely dead.
Yeah, first that ships, you didn't even know if they were going to come back. What level they were going to come back. Right,
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we were completely in the dark, like just working towards a goal that we didn't know if it was going to be sustainable in some way.
It's almost like a fearless thing to do, you know what I mean? Where you go, well, I'm going to keep I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to develop it, and it's all at the end. It's all going to come together. You know?
Yeah, we were hoping that yes, it comes back and it's gonna be just as how it was before and all of that. But like at the time, it was just like.
But it just gave us something to focus on.
Yeah,
didn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, and it made you busy all day though.
Yeah.
Like I would write all day. I'd work all day. I could be ready for the show at 6 o'clock, and I had a hard time. I went in. I go, we're live at 6 or whatever, and the first bunch of those shows were horrible. They were just, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. The sound's not working.
Yeah.
People would go, "There's no sound." I'm like, "Oh, all right," so they would comment back and forth. So I would try to figure it out.
Yeah.
But you completely reinvented yourself. So now you guys are trying. Do you have a base somewhere you live, or you don't? Because no one does.
Yeah, well, I mean, towards the end of last year, I bought an apartment in England, which was
wow, all right.
a massive achievement.
Good for you, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, that was really cool. So, because we were in England a lot last year, weren't we?
Yeah.
But I mean, it really just depends on where work takes us.
Contracts.
Yeah.
How long do you guys do? You don't do any, like Gabe's doing the long form. They're here for a long time. You guys don't do that?
We did, not with our show.
No, we don't show. When we were production, we were on board for like 6
Yeah.
9 months or whatever. But now, this is the longest we've been on board since we doing the show, like with our show, basically. Normally, on Cunard, which is where we have mainly performed the show, we only go for like
maximum a week.
Yeah, maximum a week
Yeah.
to like 3 days. Literally get on board, perform, and then
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I
I
like
feel
that.
like where we are now in our career, I much prefer just going on, do our thing and coming off rather
Sure.
than being stuck on a ship.
No, I'm
for
with you,
so
man.
long,
I'm in and out.
Yeah.
You know? Anywhere from 3 days to 3 weeks is usually the most I
Yeah.
do. And anything over 2 weeks, I get a little weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's something about being on a ship over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I gotta get
Yeah.
out of here. I gotta leave.
Well, we had a really tough experience so basically, randomly we woke up one morning towards the end of the pandemic, wasn't it? And we
Yeah.
just got a message on Messenger like, "Hi, what are you guys up to?" And it's like, well, not a lot. What have you got?
Nothing. What are you doing?
Yeah. And they were like, "Oh, we might have a contract for you." They did say in Dubai, but it wasn't in Dubai. On a ship. Obviously, we jumped at the opportunity because a year and a half without work, we were like,
I hear you.
So
absolutely.
like, give me anything. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we ran and ran for like 24 hours, getting medicals,
Getting COVID tests, getting
Yeah.
like visas sorted that we didn't end up needing.
COVID testing every week.
It was
every day.
it was
Everywhere you went, every door you walked in, there was another COVID test.
yeah.
Somebody sticking shit in your nose. You're like,
Yeah.
So yeah, we managed to make it because they were like, "Oh, we don't think you're going to be able to make it on time." We're like, "No, we will. We will make it."
Tell us where to be and we'll be there.
Yeah.
Just tell us where.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was actually initially it was a 5-month contract on a ship. I think
Yeah,
that
something
was,
like that.
or a 3-month.
I think it was again, it was just coming out of the pandemic, so they had no idea what was gonna happen, if it was gonna work or what. And it was one of the cruise lines that was, I think it was one of the first ones to actually restart the cruises at the time, and so yeah, they were just not sure.
There's a lot of unknown, but anyway, yeah, I think it was.
It was unknown when they started sailing. The whole first year was crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It changed.
Yeah.
The rules would change every day.
Yeah.
You know?
No one knew what was happening. So anyway, we took the contract and we flew, and it was on a ship, and it was based in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
And it turned out we ended up doing the contract for 9 months.
9 months in total.
And we couldn't get off the ship.
For 9 months.
9 months. The only time we got off the ship was when we got COVID, and we got transported in an ambulance to a hotel to stay in a hotel and then back on the ship.
You're probably looking forward to that. Like, sweet.
We were so
I got COVID.
absolutely. It meant we could have like decent Wi-Fi and bath.
This is great. Yeah.
It was
was different food.
Sure. Are you kidding? Oh God, different
Yeah.
food. Are you kidding me? Any food after 6 months, you're like,
Yeah.
But yeah, 9 months without getting off the ship. Like when you look back, you're just like, how did we do that?
How'd you pull it off?
So after that experience, I'm like, no more.
Yeah.
Like,
especially like it was tough because of, again, is this company is well known for not necessarily taking well care of your staff.
This particular company.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also because of COVID, there were so many restrictions that it will also tie them up on the things that they can do. So there was no crew parties.
Yeah, there was exactly. There was none of that stuff.
There was no welfare because the
gym was closed too. The crew gym was closed at least for some of them.
Yeah, they had some weird times to open, and whenever before that time a cleaner had to come and sterilize the whole thing. So that would take like an hour or 2 hours. It was just like it was weird. Crazy. It was such a crazy times, especially on a ship.
Yeah.
So it was just tough mentally to be on that for 9 months. It was just difficult. I don't know
how you got through. When we started, the U.S. ship started it was September, October. The first offer I got was a Norwegian, and it was 6 weeks. I'll take it. The same thing. No, I'm done. I'm in. I'll take it. So I did 6 weeks. But when we got on at the time, I did Alaska for the first chunk.
Okay.
Which was a really big deal because Alaska, there were cities up there that Skagway almost went bankrupt, the whole city.
Oh, wow.
Because they lost a whole season. It's a small town.
Yeah.
Have you ever done the Alaskan?
No, never.
Up in Alaska, there's all these ports up there. But Skagway is this really, really small mining town. It's the farthest north point in the United States before you went into the mountains for the gold rush back in the 1800s.
Okay.
So it's really built on history and stuff like that. But it's a small town. During the winter, it's ridiculous there. It's like 20 below. So people live there. There's less than 1,000 people in that town during the summer, or there's a few thousand, but during the winter, it's like maybe 100 people, 200 people. But they lost this season. So when we came back, they were thrilled. So I go back, and at the time we were able to get off in the ports. So like, you can get off in Alaska, but the second we got on the ship, 2 days in, they were like, no more getting off the ship. So we couldn't get off the ship anywhere. And then we couldn't be in guest areas. So no more being in guest areas. You're like, all right, okay. And I mean, the rules changed every single day.
Yeah.
And for me, it wasn't that bad because I was able to hang with the other entertainers. Luckily, they booked a lot of entertainers because there was so much going on. And the ships were at 50% capacity.
Yeah.
So nobody was, that was kind of cool, where no one's there. So I hung out with the same, JP was on that cruise. We spent a whole month together. It was hilarious. But we would just get wine and go up to our room and just sit there and, at the end of the night and talk. But it was such a weird time. But at that time, I was talking to the crew, and they closed the cruise, no crew parties, which they had every 2 weeks. Crew bar totally closed.
Yeah.
You could go in 1 or 2 at a time to get water supplies.
Exactly, yeah.
The gym was closed completely.
Right.
They couldn't go to the gym at all, which was brutal. And it was so hard for everybody. I know a bunch of friends that they quit after a while. They're like, all the good things about working a ship were gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just brutal.
Yeah, working on ships is mentally tough anyway, especially for a long contract.
Yes.
And those little things help make it better, having the crew parties or the welfare activities or going to the gym and all this stuff. And if those things get taken away, it's just like, what am I doing?
Dude, that crew party is such a big deal too, and we're very fortunate because we're performers. We work hard for what we do. We're blessed to be in the situation we are. Some of these guys, they're working 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
They never get a break. So a crew party is a big deal to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you take that away, and then they were doing it was work quarantine, they called it on the ship, where you would go to work and then you had to go back to your cabin.
Right. Yeah.
So when you weren't working, you had to be in your cabin.
Yeah.
So I mean, after a while, mentally, that's just brutal.
Yeah.
And there's no room in a cabin,
Exactly.
Cabin.
Yeah.
Exercise.
Yeah.
What the hell are you gonna? You can barely stretch in it.
Yeah. It was also very weird, especially on that ship. It was the first ship to be sailing from Saudi Arabia, and so there is the industry of cruising. There was none. That was the first experiment.
Oh, no way. Oh, really? Oh, wow.
So they have this massive ship, 6,000 plus passengers type of thing, capacity, but there will be 300 or 500 on a 6,000 passenger.
Yes, you mean?
Yeah.
It was like a ghost ship. It was weird, right?
And it was just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
It makes you also questioning why so many restrictions on such a big ship.
Yeah.
Where we can have much space. Like if the ship was in full capacity, then absolutely, there will be contact all the time. But with 300 people or 300 passengers, there would be a little bit more
Yeah,
space, but
they
there
were still
was
trying
none
to
of
figure.
that.
You know what
Yeah.
Arango was too was when the ship started sailing, they couldn't have an outbreak on a ship again once they started sailing. You know what I mean? They'd have been screwed. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, we did have an outbreak.
oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Within the cast,
Within
like
the
within the
cast.
Oh, did
cast.
you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was just
It
like,
was
oh,
Well, like a
man.
small, I think there was other ships that kind of did that where a bunch of people get COVID. They canceled shows. They would cancel the whole
Yeah,
show.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But I think what they were trying to avoid was a massive passenger thing.
yeah.
Because they were already arguing. Because there's people for years still. They're always on this ships are bad thing. There are people that are like cruise ships are terrible. They're a cesspool, and you're out a bunch of people, and the ship's not safe. And then when COVID came, they're like, well, there's no reason they're part of the problem. And you're like, no, they weren't really. They're not part of the problem. So I think they wanted to be uber careful because any problems. First of all the lines lost millions of dollars during that time. And so some went under. Carnival sold a bunch of ships. Other lines went extinct. Some merged. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when they came back, they were like, we can't have any setback. We're going to be screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Trying to take as minimum risk as possible.
Yeah. But I remember testing for COVID like a couple times a week.
Yeah.
Remember? Or anytime somebody else would. Then I had a couple where someone got it and then you're going to get tested again. Out of the blue, you got to get tested. I just got tested yesterday.
Yeah.
And you got to go.
Yeah.
Something came up. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was such a weird. Yeah, you're right. It was such a weird time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
crazy.
I feel like we've done years and years of cruises and like long contracts. So like last year was great in England because we just kind of decided to be based in England. Like I needed to be on land and at home and stuff, and but we had a really successful year. We had the guest entertainer contracts, and we got a short contract in Dubai, and then we got the summer season contract in England. So we had a mixture of on land and cruises. So it was really nice.
Well, you guys seem really. You have a real marketable show that's international and worldwide. You know what I mean? You can go anywhere to Dubai and Saudi Arabia. That's fantastic. You guys get the opportunity to do that. So you can dictate your contracts. You know what I mean? That helps. You just go. We want to do a week or two or whatever. Come on for 3 days and then leave and then be able to go home to London. Man, it's a great position to be in, man. That's awesome. Yeah, and you guys built that yourself. I love that shit. That's why I love doing the show. I love talking to artists. They're like, here's what I did. And you create your own show, and you're like, now I'm doing this on my own terms, and I'm traveling, and you got a place in England. You get to go home when you want,
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. That's great.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you close to your family in England? Are they in London?
Yeah, so I'm northwest based near Liverpool.
Okay.
And we're all in that area. So yeah, we are close. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's nice. Yeah, to see them every time we go home.
Yeah.
Where do you guys now? You leave when are you leaving here?
6th of April.
6th of April when we get to Barcelona.
Yeah, and we actually have a show on the 7th of April. The following day, and our flight from Barcelona isn't until 7:30 at night, which is really annoying because we have to hang around all day.
Yeah, right.
And we get back late to England, and then we need to go to the theatre first thing the next day to sort out the rigging and stuff.
Oh, it'll be a tough turnaround for you guys.
But it's good. It's fine.
The traveling is it's got to be harder. First of all, it's got to be harder for you guys, traveling wise, because there's two of you. A lot of times I can get you an earlier flight. Also, I would imagine I travel a lot lighter than you guys do.
Yeah.
How much stuff are you guys carrying with you when you're traveling?
Yeah, we've actually adapted the show for that reason. Haven't we've switched up one of my solo acts because of the equipment. Because I originally used a hoop, an aerial hoop,
right.
Big metal thing.
Oh, and it was you couldn't break it down, right? It was a whole hoop.
And because I'm quite tall, it's quite a big apparatus, and it doesn't fit through the extra size luggage, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, does it really?
No.
Fit through. So
when we go,
dude, you're a badass entertainer when your shit is too big for the airport.
When you go through the airport and they're like, no, you have to take it to the extra size, oversized luggage thing, and we go there and they're like, no, that's not gonna fit in here, and they have to open it and scan it, and you have to sign documents.
Yeah, now it's another half hour, 40 minutes to travel day.
Yeah.
We managed all right, except one contract it got lost. So
how do you lose a giant hoop?
It just never appeared at the airport, and we had a show the night we embarked on the ship, and we didn't have the equipment for that act. But luckily, we sorted it and we worked it. But yeah, we were like, when we started getting these contracts in the States, well, this is the first one, we decided to get rid of that piece of equipment and put a trapeze in, which can go into the luggage.
Oh, right on.
So it just makes it easier. But yeah, we normally travel with like 23 cases, don't we?
Yeah, and that's like our personal and the circus, like
Right.
of the show is within that.
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's quite light, but
Yeah.
not as light as
You had like those big cases, the
like
plastic.
fly cases. No, we
No.
don't. Not
Oh,
literally
good.
just
All right.
like suitcases.
Oh, good. That's
But-
great then. That kind of
Yeah.
helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
much
like
better.
with Cunard we have to take our own rigging. Like here we have the luxury of the winch, so the system that takes us up and
Yeah,
down.
right. I got it. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great. But on the other ships that we've performed, they don't have this, so it's like a static point. And obviously the theatres are so high, so we need to like put a load of slings rigged up to be able to reach the equipment.
Okay.
If that makes sense, it's quite.
No, it does. But
complicated.
that was another thing. Like, how is safety going from ship to ship to ship? You know what I mean? Like, you guys got to.
Yeah.
Like here, I could see because they do some form of aerial in their production shows.
Yeah.
So at
Yeah.
the very least, and they're into it. And they seem to be very on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they are.
yeah, yeah, they are. On Cunard, you very much in charge of everything that you do. So I'm on between the two of us, I'm the one in charge of like the safety and setting up the equipment and all
Yeah,
the rigging and all of that, which is always different on the three different ships that we go on Cunard. They have a different setup, all three different ships. So you just have to adapt to each one of the ships. So
how it works on that on those ships is there's a guy up above us throughout the whole show,
Okay.
and he has to lower the equipment down.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
During-
Oh, because they don't have
and
like a
then bring it
winch
back
thing.
up.
All right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting because we didn't realise that was the situation before we went on,
No.
did we? We were like, you stay up there throughout the
For the whole show?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it's interesting. But yeah, I mean, going back to like the complications of traveling, like with the different nationalities, like with Fran being from Colombia, me from England, it's always a challenge. Like with the whole visa situation and like, yeah, I don't know where we're gonna like go back to or and just making sure we've got all our equipment with us all the time.
Right.
Like, we have to think about like you have to try and plan it as much as possible, but in this industry you can only plan to a certain extent, and there's a lot of unknown of when the next contract will be or what, like to be able to plan out the whole year. Like you're not always in that situation where you know your schedule for the entire year.
Right.
We're still quite new. Like this is our second year, but like still we feel that we're quite new in the scene. So like at the moment we want to be in a position where they said, guys, this is the full year plan, and we say, yeah, we like this, or maybe we can't take that or whatever. But at the moment we're just going on a pretty much on like a 3 months type of thing,
Like
where
a
they
quarterly
say
type thing. Bam,
Yeah.
bam, bam, bam.
And we've
Okay.
had to let contracts down because of the visa situation. Like we got a great deal for November, didn't we? But it was like New Zealand and Australia, and like for me it's not a problem to sort out the visas, but for Fran it's like he'd have to go back to Colombia, send off his passport for like 4 weeks.
Really?
It's just like we're not
it's the whole thing with the nationality and the whole thing with being Colombian.
Plus November, that's so far ahead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You would think that it's enough time. But then again, a lot of times, like to get a new, like I got to renew my passport when I get home. But in order to renew it, I got to have X amount of time.
That's the issue,
You know what I mean? The quickest I can do the turnaround is, and you can pay, that's not a scam, whether I'll pay triple and then I get it within a week and a half or whatever.
Oh, right.
But whenever you do the paperwork, you lose your paperwork so you can't have it. So then you got to book around that. You got to plan to book around that. Otherwise, you won't have it done. Stuff.
Yeah, it's really difficult. It's a little bit like Tetris, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
we'll go here. We've got. It really is.
I've never heard anyone put it that way. This will fit over here.
really is.
Well, this is perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's funny.
Like sometimes we'll spend a day like, let's sit down and say, right, if we do that contract, we can do that, but then we can't apply for that visa, but we can do this here, but so we can't do that. It's literally like
Literally fitting the pieces into this big puzzle.
That's a lot. Oh wait, that's difficult. Wow, right on.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully one day this whole thing with Colombians and stuff will die down, and then it will be easier for us to travel. But
Is it a Colombian thing? Is that happens a lot with a lot of different countries?
it happens with some countries, but also the history this is attached to my country is massive, and is situation that I don't think is gonna die down anytime soon, especially with like the whole drug situation and the history of the drug cartels and all this different stuff. It affects us still, like that massive problem with the cartels and all of that was in the 80s.
Yeah, right.
But now, like, still, like, there is just so many different countries that if you're from Colombia, you have to go in person, and they have to see you in person, and you have to do things different than if you're from a different part of the world. Like, even with Brazilians or people from Argentina, they have different treatment that people from Colombia.
Right.
And so yeah, it's just is trying to find those, like, navigate those requirements to, if I want to go to New Zealand or something, I have to send my passport to the US for 4 weeks or something to get it checked and whatever, and then they say yes you can or no you can't, and all these different things.
It's such a pain in the ass, man. You know, because also even when you have the paperwork and you got it, somebody stops you in an airport, there's a question, and you know what I mean. And it's in any travel, like for me, it's a lot easier. The U.S. I can go to a lot of different places. It's not the big a deal usually. But the second there's a problem or there's a glitch, you know, and they hold you up, you can't do anything. You can't argue. You go, okay, and you got to just kind of do whatever people say.
Yeah.
Because in the U.S., if you complain or you cause a problem, they can put you on the no-fly list. We have a no-fly list.
Wow.
And they go, you can't fly anymore. And I'm like, okay. So you got to be careful not to make someone mad, even when you're like, I'm late for my flight. So it's a very delicate situation.
Yeah.
And then you deal with one person who's there and having a bad day. And they're like, well, screw it. We're going to send you upstairs. You're like, no, I'm good. I don't have to go upstairs. I'm fine. You know, so yes, it's so much. And we go through the same crap too in the U.S. where we do becoming a citizen or immigration moving into the U.S. is ridiculously involved with paperwork and all this other stuff. They make it so difficult for going to one to another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so hard. Sometimes you're just like, you know, I'm just trying to go to work.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just trying to make a living here. Yeah. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just doing circus. That's all. Yeah,
and it works against you sometimes too when you have the passport and they see all the stamps. They go, "What have you been doing, pal?" Like, I swear, I'm an entertainer. That's all. It's almost like you want to bring a demo with here. It's just me.
Yeah. Like, give you my CV.
Yeah, because the more stamps is almost negative. I've gotten that a few times. Really, why so much travel? It's work. It's what I do. I don't, you know.
Yeah. It's funny how that works. I've never been in a situation where it's been like there is always like the different questions, like what do you do, what are you here for, how long are you planning to stay. That's the usual. Or
how are you leaving? That's the one I'll get to a lot. When's your return?
Yeah. But luckily, I've never been on a situation where they really want to look into the depths of my travel and what I'm doing. All these
the travel letters help sometimes. Like when they do. You shoot a contract. I have a contract with this cruise line or whatever.
Yeah.
But some of them understand. They go, okay.
Yeah. And they don't even read it. They're like, oh yeah, fine.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I've done just as many too, where they just wave me through, where I've said it. And there's a little thought in my head that goes, man, I could have nothing but cocaine in the bag right now. You know, I could have a whole bunch of cocaine. You know, it's shit that walking through. You know what I mean? Happens all the time.
Yeah.
You know, not that I'd never do that, but you think it. Yeah. For every time, I've only been really stopped hardcore a few times, but there's a few where, and then some like I fly in and out of Belize a lot. There's a couple of guys I know there. Just be like, are you going to the Pride? Yeah, whatever. Okay. So just get used to you seeing. Now, I want to ask you guys. Is this your first celebrity gig?
Yes.
Okay, man, this is a great gig for you guys because they got the setup, and this is cool. This is really cool. If you want, because they do a lot of they bring a lot of different entertainers from all over the world that do a lot of different stuff, and they do a lot for these crossings.
Yeah.
But I hope it works out. If you guys like it, you get more celebrity gigs.
We hope so. We hope so. We really like it. We really like it here, and it's been nice. the team in the theater, they just amazing. They're really good. Especially Jaime, the guy that makes us fly.
Yeah.
Like so on point. Like so good. Is people don't really get that part, because is there for us to fly we need someone else.
Sure. Yeah.
And
right,
that
right.
person needs to be in sync
Right.
with us. We on every contract that we go to, we say that we are duo Distanza, but whenever whoever is the flight operator, which is the person that operates the winch, we call it trio Distanza, because
Okay.
he becomes part of the act, part of the show.
Yeah.
If he needs to read our cues, our
like body language.
body
in a way.
language,
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
anything's not right, he can see it.
He can
or-
catch it, like maybe he shouldn't go at the right.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. So that's always something that is if you have a good flight operator, makes your job so much easier, because you don't have to worry about taking off on the right time or
Right.
coming down at the wrong time or something
It's
like
just
that.
one less worry for us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one
of course,
less thing.
because your whole it's a safety issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing I noticed. I mean, it's simple for me. I just stand there and tell jokes, but I notice other entertainers come in. Celebrity seems to be really good with making sure everything is they're good. You know, they're very secure. They're very safe. You know what I mean? How much rehearsing are you doing with those guys? And here's what I want to bring this up. I'm amazed at how good these guys are, because so many different entertainers are coming and going.
I know.
You know
We
what I
say
mean?
the same about the musicians. They're incredible.
I know.
That blows me away.
Yeah.
That Adam showed. I saw Adam
Yeah.
show the other night. He
Yeah.
got on that day.
Yeah.
And there was, I think we had switched, and there was a new sax player, I think, maybe?
Yeah. Well,
They did embark on Tampa when we were
Okay.
leaving, so
Okay.
they just been on board for
few
what-
days.
Yeah, but Adam got on that day, and they
Yeah.
rehearsed, and they
Yeah.
go up and they do the show. It's
I
just
know.
good.
Crazy.
Isn't it
They
incredible?
have like 1 hour to rehearse with each artist. Like,
Yeah.
it's such an amazing skill.
It's amazing to watch, because you'll never, during a show, you'd never know.
yeah. That it just
It's
sounds
like
so
that
natural. It's
Yeah,
it's
there's
just
not
there.
a miss, there's not a beat, there's nothing. They're just
Yeah.
they're good. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and the
crazy.
energy, like on stage, like you can feel there is like it feels like they've been together for years. And,
Right, yeah,
and-
like a band that tours
yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing. With rehearsal,
We've had a lot more rehearsal on this contract than we would normally get on Cunard, although
yeah,
it always
absolutely.
works fine on Cunard, and we've got used to working that way.
Q Nod, is that the other
Yeah.
the line?
Yeah,
Okay.
so like for example with Cunard, it's a situation of, so you get on the ship, you have a letter on your bed to find out which day you're going to be performing, and you get a rehearsal scheduled at 4 p.m.
Right.
that day.
Yeah.
Now with us, I mean, because we've worked with the company, the lighting, a lot of them are already in the system.
yeah. But
So-
when it's the first time that
when
you
it's-
embark
yeah.
on a brand new ship, you have to set up your lights, your cues for the videos and audio,
Right.
The
the rigging.
the cues in general.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot to do.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially on a rehearsal at 4:00 when your
4:00.
first show is
Yeah,
at
that's not a
7.
lot of time.
and
Yeah,
we need
right.
to warm up, do makeup, set the quick change. Like, it's really not a lot of time. So, but we have kind of got used to working like that, and because they are so professional in what they do,
Right.
it just works because they're used to working that way as well. So like, I could have like the running order and be like, okay, this is here, this, that, blah, 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 and they've got it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, even when I look at it, I confuse myself, and I'm
Right.
like, how are they understanding? Like, they don't
But they're
even
so
know
good.
the
They just
show.
pick it up.
Yeah.
I'm blown away with the
Yeah,
talent
yeah.
back there sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a shame that they don't get seen at all.
Yeah.
At
I
all.
know they get
But,
applause every night, but
Yeah.
I still don't think they get the credit for the work
I
that
know.
they do.
Yeah,
Because you work with so many different guest entertainers, it's just
yeah. Without them, there is no show on anything. Isn't
there's
it?
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah,
And the more, and there's so more, like here, they're so involved with the winch and the aerial, that's so much more stuff to deal
Yeah.
with and worry about.
Yeah, so obviously
you know?
we have more time rehearsing here because of the cues with the winch, but we had one day with Jaime, didn't we? We literally told him the cues. We tried it and ran it with the music, and that was it. Like, he picked it up like that. So
Yeah.
sometimes with other operators, it takes them like a day on a act. On the show there is 3 aerial acts,
Right.
and some operators need like a day of rehearsal of just running just that act, and we film it, they take it away, and they study it in their spare time, whatever,
Right.
and then they got it. But with Jaime, we
was
did
like,
3
what?
acts in an hour or something, and it was
Yeah.
like done.
Yeah,
Got it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got it down.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
It's
mean,
got to make you feel good too.
Yeah.
This is
It's
the
one
safety
less thing to,
Yeah, you're
to
like,
worry.
thank God you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it would obviously we would always like more training time, but it's very difficult, especially on a crossing when there's so many sea days, and obviously the guests come first with being entertained. So
Yeah, there is so much going on with
Yeah.
the schedule and the shows and different activities and all this stuff.
How does the rockiness of the ship affect you guys?
Oh. Well, yesterday we had
We
a
had
training in
Yeah.
the theater, and yesterday was particularly bumpy.
Right.
Today is better.
It is
It's much better.
Yeah.
But yesterday was particularly bumpy, and I've been feeling fine the whole time that we've been on board, and it's been like moving and stuff. But yesterday we started training, and a lot of our stuff is spinning.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm fine with spinning.
Yeah.
But when you add the spinning and the rockiness of the ship, yesterday I was like,
Yeah, it's got to be an
man.
extra feeling in the air, like, oh, I'm not used to
Yeah.
this feeling.
Yeah, and also it's so weird because there's so many different forces involved on when you're doing the normal act. Let's say on a normal theater inland, you take off and that you're spinning, and there is like certain forces that you move with your body, and that helps you to do certain
Yeah,
things.
momentum
isn't it?
thing or whatever,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
But when you add the movement of the ship and certain rockiness and
Yeah.
stuff like that, you're not spinning just like that. You're starting doing like some sort of weird orbits and that affects the way that the energy
All of it,
flows
yeah.
and all of these different things. And it's just like your proprioception, I think it's called the perception of where your body is. It gets so shaky with this when we fly in normally, like we know where each other's bodies are at all time. But yesterday when we were spinning, I was just like, no, I need to. We did it. One of the acts we ran it once, and I was like, no, Jenna, I can't do this a second time because that's just not gonna work.
Amazingly, I felt all right when I've been feeling rough.
Yeah, you've not been feeling well.
But I was all right. But yeah, it's just one of those things you just got to get on and do it, haven't you? Like.
Yeah, but you find a way to make it work. Like, well, we'll figure it out. We'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were a little bit worried, especially yesterday when we were rehearsing. I was this movement. We're like, what if it's show time and the ship is moving like this? There is a lot of things that, like especially on the adagio where we're doing lifts and balances and stuff, and you have a trouble standing on your 2 feet, but then you had another body up here.
God. Oh,
then it's just like, how are we gonna do this? And we were like, oh no, maybe what if we change this or we do that or I don't know, like maybe change the show for another day. But that is not as easy as it sounds because it's just moving.
It's not. Well, it's unpredictable too.
Yeah.
You don't know when it's going to happen.
Exactly.
You're like, everything's fine, and then you're like, whoa. Like I noticed a little thing when I go to the gym. If I'm lifting weights, like if I bench and then the shift, I'm like, whoa, that's a little heavier. Everything's moving, but you never know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, God, that's got to be all right.
Well, hopefully it'll be all right. We're on a port day, and I think the ship leaves around 6ish. So
yeah, it's much better today. So hopefully.
Yeah. Plus, you'll be closer. We'll be away from a lot of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This
It'll
is
be closer to land.
Yeah. We were a couple rough days last week or earlier in the week when we were deep in the Atlantic or whatever. But now when we get closer to port, it'll be easier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they probably schedule that way too.
Yeah,
that's what we think. Yeah, because they also have
That's why they put me up in the middle of the Rocky Day. Because the comics are just throw the comic up. There were a couple times where I was rocking back and forth. Sue had said at one point, she goes, "Do you want a chair?" I go, "Nah, fine, I'll figure it out." I mean, what am I gonna do? But yeah, they have to put that thinking into the scheduling.
Yeah. That same night that we do our show, there is the other production show, Illyria, which is a late night show.
Right.
And it also has a lot of aerial and all the acrobats are like full into it, and the dancers do some aerial stuff as well. So they scheduled those shows on that day.
Right.
We assumed thinking that it's gonna be the most
calm.
Right.
Calm
They'll know.
day.
Or at least they'll probably talk to the captain. He'll tell you.
Yeah.
Plus, it's such a weird business. I'm sure he looks at the weather. You know what I mean? You think about all of that goes into it. He's got to think, well, Thursday we can't because it's going to be a storm and we can't, and we should probably put the comic on. Okay.
You guys would be fun when we come on the port. It'll be nice and mellow.
Yeah.
Nobody get hurt.
Yeah.
There's so much things to think about.
It's a lot. You see, but there's a lot that goes into it. That's hilarious. Dude, this is great, man. This is awesome. We did an hour and 10 minutes. This is fantastic.
Cool. That was
Yeah.
really quick.
Guys, do me a favor. Into this camera, just give me whatever you want to plug. Socials, website, if you have anything at all. Instagram, I don't care, whatever it is. MySpace, you still on MySpace?
I mean, I might have an account somewhere.
I know.
I would go on that.
Yeah, right.
Instagram, isn't it?
Yeah,
Really?
Instagram. Duo Distanza. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, we have got a YouTube channel. We're not
Yeah.
using it as much as we should. We have got a website as well, which is www.joedistanza.com.
Distanza with a Z
Yeah,
at the end.
yeah.
Joy Costanza?
Duo Distanza.
Jewel Costanza. Okay.
Duo, yeah. So,
Duo. Oh, duo.
yeah, duo, like two in Italian.
Yeah,
And Distanza,
in Italian.
distance in Italian.
Duo Costanza. Got it. All right.
Duo
Perfect.
Distanza.
Guys, thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you very
Perfect,
much.
man.
Thank
you.
very much.
You're still watching? That's amazing. Nobody does that. Nobody, but you did. That means you want more. Pick one of these clips. Go for it. I dare you. Hey, also follow one of those social media thingies.